This is investment tanking, this time taking a look at the Tier 8 French medium tank, the AMX CDC. Let's get this out of the way. This is not a noob-friendly tank. If you've just started playing the game and you've played less than 3,000 battles, don't buy a CDC, please. Overall, the tank is exceedingly good, but very unforgiving, which you can probably attribute to having the same armour as a Tier 2 or 3 light tank. Let that sink in. The turret and the hull both have identical armour schemes, that is 30 at the front and 20 at the sides and rear. High explosive will go through you no problem. If you face another CDC while you're in your CDC, load high explosive, you've got 45mm of penetration, you're going to do a lot more damage. So why, if this has such bad armour, would anyone want this kind of tank? Well, the whole point is, it makes up for that having 35.29 horsepower a ton, thanks to its 1200 horsepower engine and only weighing, well, not much at all, about 34 tons. This means that the CDC can accelerate extremely quickly up to its top speed of 57 km an hour forwards and 20 km an hour backwards. That means if you get in too much trouble, you can reverse fairly quickly without having to wait to reverse to top speed. The CDC also has 40 degrees a second traverse of its hull and 38 of its turret, which means you're going to be very mobile, and if anything's circling you, then you can turn your turret and your hull and manage to keep shooting them while it's happening. Mobility truly is the key in this tank. That being said, Wargaming in their infinite wisdom thought they'd balance that out by giving it horrendous terrain resistance. That's 1.5 on hard terrain, 1.7 on medium, and an entire 3 resistance on soft terrain. That's like driving through treacle. If you didn't have that engine, you'd be crawling. And it's all very well and good being able to move around the battlefield, but if you've got no armour, and you can only move, then you need a good gun to go with it as well, and that's exactly what it is. You've got the good 212mm of penetration gun that most of the French heavies have, going up that line. Now that starts with ARL 44, does around 240 damage, and the gold round is actually quite good. It's APCR and goes to 259mm of penetration. That's roughly a tier 10 heavy tank standard round of penetration. But what marries this gun with the mobility of the tank is the gun constraints. It's 0.34 accuracy or dispersion, that's fairly good for a tier 8 medium tank. Got around 8.2 rounds a minute, that's around 7.3 second reload without vents, rammer or anything. And the aim time is fairly good at 2.2 seconds. But what I love, since I'm a Japanese lover, wow, that came out wrong, is the minus 10 degrees of gun depression and plus 20 of elevation. That means you can get into many good positions and you can always shoot the enemy. You are just such a ninja. You are super fast and you can strike from any angle. Of course, nowadays tier 8 premiums that get released go up to tier 10 matchmaking. The days of preferential are over, which means this CDC will see tier 10 games every now and then, and it is not the end of the world. 212 penetration is still more than enough to take out most tanks from the side and rear. Just think of the tier 9 T54, it has 201mm penetration on the preferable gun, and most people play it with that. And if they're actually skilled, they don't tend to use gold, so it survives. Just don't get hit, use the mobility to your advantage, always stick to the hills and shoot over, pull back. Don't go in brawling like I just did there, I overextended. Also, as this is a premium tank, it does get the bonus experience of the plus 50% again, and a greater credit income. Myself, on a game like this, just over maybe 2,500 damage, you can expect around maybe 80,000 credits, which after you've taken away the resupply ammunition and maybe repair your tank if it gets damaged beyond halfway like mine, that'll go around to about 60,000 plus. That is still amazing. So, is it a good tank? Yeah, very, if you know how to play it. It is not for noobs. Is it worth having? Yeah, just soon you're going to have the update with all the physics, and this will be able to go anywhere. Other than that, spare more gold and keep tanking.